again, we have Devin here.
How's it going?
And Tim.
How do you do?
Our producer, Harrison. And then myself, James. Last episode we got into gaming. We got into a lot of tangents about Pokemon and old school gaming.
Yeah,
Lots of Nintendo and Sega and
Pokemon. It was old school gaming.
I think I literally shut up for
like
probably 15-20 minutes of the last podcast, because me and Pokemon, I respect Pokemon for what it did for gaming. I just was never into it. I'm a sports gamer, man. Sports and racing, that's what I do. I do pick up a shooter here now and again, but I'm not an online shooter. I love the campaign. So if a shooter doesn't have a campaign in it, I don't even play it.
Yeah.
I'm a
Black Ops 4.
I'm a one-player kind of guy. Don't get me wrong. There were modern shooting games like Mass Effect and Mass Effect 3 had an online gameplay mode, which I played the heck out of. I played that a lot, but the only reason why I played Mass Effect was for the story, for the one-player mode. But I just happened to get into the multiplayer because it was co-op multiplayer, and it was a lot like playing single player, but you got to play with people that you know.
Mass Effect story, though, I mean, if you haven't played Mass Effect, it's a good game. I've never actually played myself, but I've seen the story unfold through other people.
Same here.
And that story is amazing.
Yeah, it's
whether you're playing as the male shepherd, that's the name of the, or the male or the female, it doesn't really matter. It's an amazing story evolution.
It does matter in certain ways depending on, especially like the romances.
That's not where I was getting at. What I meant by that is it doesn't matter if you chose the story itself. The nitty gritty of the story itself unfolds amazingly.
Yeah, the main story in and of itself doesn't change a whole lot if you're playing male or female. And I preferred playing female shepherd because I like staring at girls. So
I'm the same.
If I'm going to stare at an avatar all day long, I'd rather it be female.
I'm with you 100%. I mean, for a long time in WoW, I would just make the male characters because I wanted to be that. I want to be the brute. I want to be the guy. I want to be the barbarian fighter.
And while I respect men with muscles, I don't like staring at them.
Right, and that's my main thing. Is if I'm going to stare
for me,
if I'm going to stare at an avatar all day throughout or whatever game session I'm playing, if I'm going to stare at the backside of an avatar, it's going to be a girl.
If there's going to be muscles involved, it better be sports ball involved too, right? Right, Tim?
Yeah, I like lady muscles.
Lady muscles. Well, I think he was more talking about sports games. I mean, there aren't many good.
I mean, we can get into sports ball.
You don't really find any female oriented sports ball games.
Well, the funny thing is that the new FIFA.
I was gonna say
the new FIFA released
a WNBA game or something.
No, they do not. But the new FIFA released the female soccer teams.
You just reminded me of something also kind of very relevant. Talking about how there's female teams in your FIFA game and stuff like that. For the first time ever, even though it's a complete crap sandwich without the bread of a game, 2K20 in WWE actually has a female My Career mode.
Right, which is
that actually you can create a male character and a female character and play through the story with both of them, same story at the same time.
Okay. Now there were older wrestling games where you could make a character and you could make a male or a female. You would play through the same basic story.
Here comes the pain.
And I did
pain.
enjoy playing a female character and beating up all of the dudes and winning the WWE championship.
There was
and it's like, I'm the heavyweight champion.
There was a cheat.
I'm a 110-pound woman.
There was a cheat in that, wasn't there?
Yeah.
There was a cheat in that, wasn't there? Where the original female characters, if you started out as a female, they capped at a certain level, an attribute level.
Yeah.
But if you created a male character and then attributed him, maxed him out, and then turned him into a female, she still had the maxed out.
Oh yeah, I did that.
Attributes.
There was
when you were saying that she could go and beat all the guys, that's exactly
there's been a lot.
So what I did was what you do is when you first made the character in back in like the Here Come the Pain days, was you set it to female so you could have all the female things so you could make a female character, and then you would set it to male because you could edit it afterward. You would set it to male so that you could play with the stats as though it were male, and then you could switch it back to female, and you can go get the women's championship with unfair stats. So.
Right.
Or you can just stay a male and embarrass the hell out of a bunch of CPU males.
Yeah, and I did that too because I had set to male and I played through the regular game
and here
got all the
comes the
championships and then set it to female and got the women's championship too. And
it's a shame we didn't really talk about any wrestling games on the first half of our back in the day, because Here Comes the Pain is like an early 2000, I think like 2002 or something like that.
It was still during. Was it later or earlier than that? Well, it was SmackDown.
Probably like 200003, 2004.
It was a SmackDown game.
Here Comes the Pain was the one with Lesnar on the cover, so that was
2002.
I was in high school.
Yeah, so it was after the wars.
Yeah,
it was after the Nitro.
Brock showed up about 2002,
you gotta remember,
left about 2004, so it couldn't have been.
WrestleMania 2000 came out in what, 98?
Yeah.
So WrestleMania 2000 came out in 98. In 2000, they released No Mercy.
Yeah.
Then they released the first SmackDown games.
Right.
And Here Comes the Pain was one of the SmackDown games. I think it was.
It was like the second,
third one.
Second
or third one. So it was probably around 2003.
Okay, well, I'm not super far off.
Well, the only reason why I mentioned that is because that was the point in time in gaming where 1 or 2 years made a huge amount of difference.
This is true.
In your gameplay.
This is true.
So if you go from Here Comes the Pain back, the 4 or 5 years to WrestleMania 2000,
there's
these are
huge,
radically different games.
a radical. Well, you got different systems that you're playing on, more than likely.
Yeah.
But anyways, my point is, playing through the story mode of Here Comes the Pain is the most enjoyable amount of like complete lawlessness that I've ever seen as far as the story goes. Because not only can you do that crap we were just talking about with making your character a girl that's really a male that's really a girl or whatever.
Yeah.
Not only that, they would the computer would create characters and then send them after your character and attack you in the middle of your story.
Granted, they were always.
And sometimes they were girls.
Hold on. So we get an actual date.
Uninspired, generic characters.
Super generic.
So we can get an actual date so that we can make this a little more accurate.
Yeah.
It was released in October of 2003.
That Tim's so smart.
So I mean.
Yeah.
I didn't want this podcast to have this huge I don't know when it was released. Well, we have a thing called Google, so
I'm basing it off of I'm a diehard wrestling fan, not just the gaming. I'm talking. Yeah. I've been watching, and I remember 2002 was when Brock showed up. He had a hell of a rocket to the moon start.
And if we
the years 2002, 2003 is just 2000 and Brock freaking Lesnar.
And if you don't know Devin personally, Devin is so into wrestling that at one point he went to a wrestling school for almost a year. Was it a little over a year, maybe?
It was about a year, yeah.
So he did try his hand at it.
So that was about enough time to learn how to do your falls.
I could let's see. I could take a shoulder tackle, flat bump. I could just walk into. I could probably do one right here. Except it would hurt like a motherfucker because there's no mat.
Yeah.
But, and whatever. Let's not go off on a huge tangent here. But there is a mat, sure, whatever. But it's thin as hell and it still hurts no matter what.
Right.
However, this is not a mat and it's like hollow floor. So that would hurt a lot.
Anyway, I just wanted to state that
the mat for professional wrestling is essentially just a wrestling mat, right?
Pretty much.
Because wrestling mats aren't thick.
It's foam and canvas. All right. So they set up the ring. They put 2x4s across the frame of the ring. They throw on the foam, tape it all together, tie it all up, and then they put the canvas on.
All right. So we're video gaming, but I just wanted to make a comment. So the people who don't know Devin is our resident wrestling guy.
Resident wrestling
and Pokemon professor over here. So I just wanted to at least put that out there so that when Devin goes on his little wrestling tangents, that's just because Devin is passionate about wrestling and Pokemon.
Yes, sir.
So we'll get back into some of the
when I
modern
talk
stuff.
about wrestling, it's because I love Pokemon.
So we started getting into the 64, and we started getting into, moving on to the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2 a little bit last.
Yeah.
Really, what got me into the more modern stuff was when I finally got my Xbox 360.
Yeah, that is a absolute staple in gaming history. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, it took me a number of years to end up getting a PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
It had been out for a while by then. I got the Slim. Like, when the Slim came, that's when I got my first PlayStation 3.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, this is about the same time as me.
For me, my Xbox 360, not gonna lie, is probably the only Xbox I've ever owned.
I will say this: they announced the PlayStation 5, yeah.
Yeah. It'll be holiday season next year. So it'll be
this is how far I generally am. This is how far behind I generally am in consoles. I just started thinking about whether or not I should get a PlayStation 4, and a couple days later, you told me that they announced the PlayStation 5, and was like, yeah, that sounds about right for me.
I thought you owned a PS4.
Nope.
Why did I think you had a PS4?
I don't know, but I don't. I'm thinking about getting one just so I can play Arkham Knight.
I have it.
The only reason why I get it.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, had you had it and PlayStation Plus, you would have gotten it for free last month.
Like last month.
2 months ago, maybe.
A couple months. I know. I just downloaded.
I have it. I have it on my system. I just
downloaded Neo. That's free for November. Neo and Outlast.
Yeah, and neither one of those.
Neither of them are anything that I've ever really paid any attention to. But I took a look at the trailer for Neo, and I just decided to say.
Talking about the free gaming. Talking about the free gaming. Here's how bad the last MLB was. They gave it out for free last month or 2 months ago.
2020?
19.
Oh, 19.
20's not out yet. 20 won't come out until the season starts next year. But
talking about trash sports games, fake sport or not, yeah, they'll probably. I mean, Black Friday they always do the sports games at like, your cheaper cost, your discounted cost. Which if you're willing to go make that shopping or spend the money online or whatever. It could be worth it if it's worth a damn, but like I bet this year, even though I saw WWE 2K20 on sale for like $29, I bet nobody bought that.
Now that you mention,
not many people have walked into the store and bought any of them.
Now that you mention things like sales and things,
last one is
just a PSA. I was looking through a study that came out this year, so just a couple months ago, about people who try and buy things on sale versus people who don't bother, and people who try and find things on sale actually end up spending more money because they end up buying more junk than people who don't care about sales.
Mm-hmm.
So just a little PSA in case someone's just like, you can get it, it's on sale, you don't have to care, you'll end up spending less money in the long run.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Back into gaming because that blew us off topic, but I do have a PS4. I love my PS4. I don't think I'd ever. I mean, I've played on the Xbox One. There was an Xbox One in my house for a while, and I had to play on it. But it's not something. Xbox is. I've kind of steered away from Xbox. Truthfully, there's only like maybe 2 Xbox exclusive games that I'd want to play, and one of them is a racing game.
Yeah.
I don't think I care about the majority of exclusives. I haven't cared about the majority of exclusives for couple gens now.
Same, either side. PlayStation, Xbox, it doesn't really matter.
But truthfully,
for me, I'm gonna play my specific games on whatever console I get.
The only thing that I was really excited that got moved over from being an exclusive to being on both Xbox and PlayStation was Mass Effect, because I didn't have an Xbox.
Right.
Well,
and then my reasoning for getting a PS4 over anything else is I've always told people, it's like, well, what system should I get? If you look at the hardware of what's underneath those, they are almost identical.
And they're essentially just really bad computers.
They're just stripped down computers because they're not made to run an operating system on top of playing a game. These are made strictly to play a game, and that's it.
Yeah, but anyway, they are running an operating system. They're running a custom operating system.
Right.
It's a very.
But back to the comment I'm getting at is if somebody asks me, what system should I get? Okay, so if you guys don't know, I do work part-time at a gaming store. We're not going to name the gaming store because I don't feel like getting copyright hit right now. But people come in all the time and, well, what system should I get my kid? I'm like, well, here's the thing. 2 things you have to worry about. Exclusivities on what games come out on what systems.
So
what kind of games
like?
you want to play.
Yeah,
Like, I got the PS4 to play MLB because it's the only baseball game that's worth a damn.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, what does your kid's friends have? Because if he wants to get online and play with his friends, they can't always play online together until this stupid Fortnite craze came out. We'll talk about that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
You can't play with your friends if you have 2 different styles of console. So you had to choose what your friends had so you can play with them online.
Yeah.
So when I chose mine, it was to play baseball because I wanted a solid baseball game, not this RIB crap that doesn't even have real baseball players in it.
Yeah.
So I play MLB because it has the Major League Baseball Players Association licensing, so they have the rights to use the names of the baseball teams, the names of the players, and their likenesses.
Mm-hmm.
But also, most of my friends were all going into the PlayStations because for some reason, it seems like the Xboxes are the kids' game system. A lot of the younger tweens and the younger kids are getting Xboxes because
nowadays
they think that the Xbox is the better. It's like, for me, it's like Android versus Apple.
Well, from my point of view,
which honestly, I'm not even sure I could say it's Android versus Apple, because Android versus Apple, there's at least real differences between those phones and their operating systems and how they work. The only real difference between the Xbox and the PlayStation at the moment is
the handful of exclusive games.
The handful of exclusive games, and you can't play online with each other.
Now back to the comment I made a minute ago. We're going to talk about some of the influences of gaming. Fortnite.
Huge.
Nobody in this room.
Oh wait, sorry. Controller style. That was generally a lot of the reason why I chose Sony. Was I liked their controller and I didn't like Xbox's controller.
Well, here's the funny thing is that there is a controller made specifically for the PlayStation right now. It's like their version of an Elite controller. So what's really cool about this system is that the D-pad and the 2 thumbsticks are interchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
You can move those 3 things around to make it comfortable for you to use.
Right.
And what's even more cool about it, it may cost you $200 out the door, but if your thumbstick gets drift in it or the D-pad stops working, you can pay $20, yank that module out, and buy a new module for $20 instead of having to replace a whole $200 controller.
Well, so for me, the huge difference that I saw, I used to roommate with somebody that was a huge PC gamer, but he owned an Xbox, whatever,
the One S probably.
One S, I think. He spent like almost $1,000 to get it and whatnot, but like he would always play through his PC with his Xbox hooked up with his controller though.
Well, yeah.
And you don't ever see anybody that's got a PlayStation that they're playing PC games through.
Well, see, here's the thing
so
though.
I would say most PC gamers are going to lean towards, if they're getting a console, they're probably going to get the Xbox.
Well, here's the thing about that is that's because Xbox is owned by Microsoft. Yeah. So here's the thing is that
that is a big thing about Xbox controllers. They hook straight up into a PC.
They will connect.
I've never owned an Xbox, but I have considered getting an Xbox 360 controller just to hook it into my computer. Just because it's already set up to take the controller,
right?
And I can start playing some PC games.
Well, the Xbox One controllers will do it too.
Yeah, but why would I want to pay the extra?
Well,
good point. It's a good point.
The roommate in question here, he had like the Elite, so like
he had the Elite controller, the buttons on the bottom and the
Uber buttons all over the place. So like that's why he went all out with it. But,
right.
Like, as far as I know, he had the Xbox hooked up to the PC, but he never actually played any Xbox-specific games, usually.
You have PC games.
Yeah,
I mean,
he would just use his Xbox.
A lot of the games now are even being released on PC, like some of the console games. What is that new game by Bethesda?
Fallouts?
It's made by Bethesda, and it's a lot like Fallout, but it's a new game that they just released about a month ago. But Bethesda was the ones who made Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah.
So they stopped making the Fallout games. So they didn't make 76.
Was that Obsidian then?
Might have been Obsidian that
They
made 76.
canceled 76?
No. 76 is out, but Bethesda's not.
Oh,
Bethesda wasn't the one that made it. So they created this other game.
I don't know what it is about,
And
we can get into some of the actual like companies that make some of these games for just a second. Obsidian, I don't know why they still make games or why people let them make games, but anytime they make a game in a series, okay, so they made one of the Elder Scroll games that everyone thought was the worst one.
Which one was that?
I can't even remember. I think it was Oblivion.
Oblivion was okay for what it was, but I mean, when Skyrim came out, it just blew Obsidian out of the water.
Right. So and then they made Knights of the Old Republic 2, which most people agree is the worst of the two.
Well, yeah. Why would you play Knights of the Old Republic 2 when you can just play Knights of the Old Republic?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say.
Knights of the Old Republic was made by BioWare, which is the same guys that made Mass Effect, and that was a really good game, and they're a really good company, or they were. But Obsidian, anytime Obsidian gets their, because Obsidian made one of the Fallout games. I think it was Fallout
4, maybe.
4.
Well, 4 was really big, though. I mean, 4 was huge. I mean, there are still people that buy Fallout 4 just to play the mods that are put out there for it.
All right, but like people do that with 3, and people do that with New Vegas, and people
True.
will pick their Fallout games, and no matter what series it is, anytime Obsidian makes a game, everyone can basically agree it's a competent enough game, but it's generally not the best, or even in like the top half of whatever series it's in.
Yeah.
It's so they're like this the company you go to when the company that's better is busy.
Or like you're saying though, but like you're saying is like they're the company that you go to when the original makers of the game decides to just back out and do their own
They're
thing.
like that random
they're
dude
your
that directed the
fallback
4th
guy.
Harry Potter movie. Nobody knows who he is other than the fact that he just happened to be the director of the 4th Harry Potter movie.
Didn't he direct some commercials?
Yeah, probably.
That's what it was.
That's so funny.
But no, Obsidian is your fallback guy.
Right. I mean,
And-
if we're going to talk about makers of video games, one of the most frustrating makers of video games but make the best games in the market is Valve.
Honestly, I would say, in my opinion, Valve has done a lot of good coding work and a lot of really good like physics work and
Right.
a lot of their background stuff. They're basically their engineering of games is really good. But if you're not looking for that, then I think they might be slightly overrated. Because there are certain games that they put out that people still like Team Fortress 2, that they play and have fun with.
Right.
Or the Portal games were
Oh,
creative and fun.
Portal games, oh my gosh, those are so
I
great.
actually messed around with
and
Portal too.
Portal was awesome.
Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the Left 4 Dead games.
Yes.
But at no point in time while playing any of these games was I just like, oh man, these are the greatest games. Well, no, they're all fun.
Well,
They're
that's
all good.
that's the thing about. Okay, we'll talk about Left 4 Dead for a minute because, truthfully, that was one game that brought a lot of our friends together because
Yeah.
there were people in our group that never played video games whatsoever.
Everyone played Left 4 Dead.
We all played Left 4 Dead. We would sit in our buddy Huck's room,
Yeah.
this little bitty ass room, with like 8 of us crammed in this bedroom, staring at this old school projection style 50-inch TV, and we would all play Left 4 Dead. We would hand controllers around, we'd play with each other, against each other, we'd jump online and we'd play against randoms as a group of 4 of us, because you could play 4
Yeah.
people on the system, on one system at the time. And we just sat there and just played Left 4 Dead and BS'd and just, we got together and that's what we did. I mean,
it was fun, and people still play Left 4 Dead 2, but not a whole lot of people. Like, you would still run into people, or like a lot of people talk about their memories of playing Left 4 Dead,
Oh, yeah.
Left 4 Dead 2. Not a whole lot of people still play it. Team Fortress 2 is really the only game that Valve has out that people still play, and it got kind of murdered a bit by things
Now-
like Fortnite.
Like,
So
I heard a rumor
and Team
about.
Fortress 2 was a glorified hat simulator, but a lot of people who played it even before Fortnite came out were moving away from it and heading toward like League of Legends and things like that, and other completely other genres. But in like sort of a gamer brain, it makes sense that these games link up. But so people are already moving away from it, and Fortnite kind of killed it, and Fortnite's kind of dying now. But no one's going back to Team Fortress 2.
Right. Well, I mean, I heard a rumor. I heard a rumor the other day. I mean, because I don't know when this will be dropped, but this is actually being recorded around Thanksgiving. We were at a Thanksgiving family gathering, and somebody told me that Valve was supposed to be making another game very similar to Left 4 Dead.
It probably won't be called Left 4 Dead because they can't make a third game in the series.
So they said it's just going to be very similar in that play style, and I think it would be fun. Now, with that said, we'll go back to your Fortnite thing. So for those of you who have children that play Fortnite and are addicted and still playing Fortnite, you need to start introducing them to other games. Because if you are listening to this podcast, you most likely are a gamer yourself.
Yeah.
So start introducing him to other games. Like, my son never really played Fortnite, but he enjoyed what Fortnite is, and when he'd go see his friends and stuff, he would go play Fortnite with his friends.
It's popular amongst his friends either way, so he's gonna have
But
that
my son is still a
influence.
Minecrafter. If he really has his choice to sit and play a game, me and him will play on the Wii.
There's gonna
We
be
still love the old
Legos
Wii
or-
games.
And a lot of the YouTube and Twitch guys that went to Fortnite are going back to
Minecraft, which is the reson why he's going back to Minecraft, because he loves watching YouTubers, and they're all going back to Minecraft.
I loved Minecraft back in the
That's
day.
another huge part of
The only reason
Oh,
why
yeah.
I don't play
gaming is
Minecraft is because I
YouTubers.
work too much, and all the time where I'm not at work, I'm spending playing Pokemon. But if you know,
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about Minecraft for a minute and where it influenced gaming. I mean, Minecraft.
Look at the fact that Minecraft, sure, but like it has a huge. What Minecraft has specifically that pokes out to me is it's one of those games that has a ton of YouTubers doing it. That's a huge influence on the game today. It's like
it's probably twice.
I wouldn't
as many,
even know what Fortnite or Minecraft was if it wasn't for the fact that there's 70 bajillion YouTubers.
Well,
there's probably twice as many people playing a Minecraft or Minecraft variant than you might think.
Yeah.
Because Minecraft had a lot of clones made of it.
Yeah.
A lot of clones.
Well, and like Minecraft, once it became open market, didn't the maker finally put it out on the open market? So modding of Minecraft became.
Well, you've always been able to mod.
Oh yeah,
But
modding's always been
so a lot of these YouTubers, from what I see from what my son used to watch, or still watches probably, I don't know.
He was just watching Minecraft videos yesterday while I was watching him.
So it's like they do a lot of these weird like game variants of what the game is, and like so they do like a parkour mode where you have to make jumps to get through certain places to do certain things.
hide and seek.
And then there was a group YouTubers called, I don't know if I want to say their names, but this popular MMOs. They do a lot of these weird like challenges for themselves. It's a couple, husband and wife couple, that
the one that I'm always hearing him listen to and watch.
They do these weird challenges like, well, we got to go do this, and then we're gonna do these giant battle in this arena that they created.
There are a lot of different like challenge maps and things. I've seen a lot of the Minecraft YouTubers get into that, where there'll be like these super maps where you have to basically the end goal is you have to get all the different colors of wool, and in order to do that you have to go from where you start in your main map and go through into the challenge world of such and such to get its color wool, and go do all of its challenges. And some of it's like quizzes or arena battles or the Elantris flying or
Minecraft has so many layers.
Right. It's got, so
Minecraft changed. I mean, I remember when it first came out, there were so many people like, I want to play Minecraft, but my computer can't handle it because of the refresh rate needed back when it was created. I don't even remember how long ago it was created.
Yeah.
The free roam ability, like the ability, like you could just start walking on the map, and it'll continually populate a new map, and that was a lot of generating power for a CPU.
For how simple people think of Minecraft today, and it's like, oh yeah, basically anything can run Minecraft. When Minecraft came out, you needed a decent computer to play Minecraft if you wanted it to run any kind of smooth, because it looks like real world Legos. That's what it looks like.
It looks like it should be simple.
It looks simple, but there's so much junk happening.
Oh yeah, a lot of layers of what's going on.
And especially now. Like, if you look at the old alpha Minecraft, it was so much more simple than it is today. And even so, there was a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah. I mean, so we've talked about Minecraft. That's where it goes, where a lot of gaming started. But I mean, let's talk about like online gaming. I mean, like when we were talking about in the last episode, it was a lot of us just playing at home.
Yeah.
With a couple of buddies. Now my big thing was, even back then I was into sports games. Like the Genesis innovated sports gaming for me. NHL.
Was it NHL 94?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the NHL, and they actually the Genesis created a memory chip, so you could save stuff on your cartridge. So you could create a dynasty or a season mode to where you don't have to continually play. You just save it, and you can come back to it when you want to and play your next game in your season.
Yeah.
And then they started creating. You could create players.
Yeah.
And putting them in there. But NHL, Coach K's basketball, college basketball, was one of my favorite games. I loved that game, and I'm not a basketball fan. I just liked Coach K.
I don't like sports games, but Coach K college basketball and NHL '94, and because we're talking about the Genesis, that's when they had the Mutant Sports games.
Oh
so,
yeah.
So Mutant Sports football and Mutant Sports hockey, those were really fun.
Yeah. The Madden got its start.
I don't know if you watched the show Mutant Sports when you were a kid, Devin, but Mutant Sports was about it was basically a bunch of people got in a city got hit with toxic waste and got turned into mutants, and they're basically second-class citizens in society. But the way they get by is by playing extreme sports to make money.
Hell yeah!
So it's basically hockey with extreme stuff too.
Right.
Or
so like there's landmines on the ice, and you could literally win or lose by not having enough players to populate the field.
Yeah.
That sounds super.
Yeah.
90s.
But like Madden got its start back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Madden of now got its start back on the Sega Genesis. Those original football games, I played the original football games on the Genesis. Now I did have Tecmo Bowl for the NES.
Yeah, Tecmo Bowl, Super Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah, the one with all you had to do is play as LA and you'd win every time because Bo Jackson was in that game.
Right.
And Bo Jackson could literally run in circles around everybody.
Playing Tecmo Bowl, tournaments and things, and the rule was no Bo Jackson. Like it doesn't matter what else is going on. Like you can do anything else, just no Bo Jackson.
But yeah, I mean, so
he was in a baseball game at the time too.
You remember when video games characters used to actually be OP?
Yeah.
Like that's not really a thing anymore. There's always an answer.
We played by ourselves. Sports gaming would allow me to go see a friend and we'd play against each other in sports, or we'd set up a tournament in one of our sports games and we'd both pick a team and we would play our respective games through the tournament, and if we ended up playing against each other, which we always did because we tried to start our teams in opposite brackets and we play each other in the championship, and whoever won because very rarely did we lose because that's just those games back in the day. As fun as they were pretty simplistic to learn. Once you learn the patterns and how to do certain
things. It goes
things,
back to the timing.
And patterns.
You play the game over and over again, you're gonna know how.
Right. But now everything as gaming progressed, and we're gonna I try to get into the 360. 360 introduced online game. Well, I should say the Xbox One, or the Xbox One. No, the Xbox. The original. I'm sorry, the original Xbox console introduced LAN parties. Yeah. You'd get groups of your friends who all have Xboxes, and we'd all play Halo together.
And
I remember.
That's the thing.
I remember
a lot of the big online gaming craze came from things like Halo 2 and so people had their big LAN parties from Halo that they would remember. And the thing is, if online had happened earlier, people probably would have been playing a version of GoldenEye online, because people did big parties with GoldenEye too.
Yeah.
But it just that Halo happened to be the game that was out and people
were
that's
playing. Because Microsoft added the linking ability of linking your system with somebody else's system, which started the whole networking craze, linking and playing.
What you're talking about is actually extremely relevant to me. I am not the guy that's gonna want to play online against my friend that's half an hour away or wherever he is. I'm not the guy that... I never had an Xbox or an Xbox 360. I never had internet. That stuff wasn't even a possibility or something that I was influenced by or around. But even so, a lot of everybody I know my age, they had an Xbox 360. They played Halo. They did the LAN parties. They did all that stuff. So, it's an absolute staple of gaming history, because they created something that's so majorly popular in all forms of gaming now, which is going online and playing against your buddies or strangers.
The shooter genre made online a huge thing.
100%.
Oh, yeah,
Halo,
absolutely.
and then going into, Call of Duty.
Because I remember...
Gears of War.
I remember standing in line at midnight to get Halo 2. And then after we stood in line, and a group of us got the Halo 2, they got their consoles, because I didn't have a console at the time, but I had a lot of friends that did. Went to a buddy's house who we sat in 4 different rooms of his parents' house. His room, his sister's room, because his sister had a TV, he had a TV. He had a buddy who brought a TV, so they set it up in the dining room. And then we had another TV literally in the hallway playing.
Hell yeah.
We had 4 systems all connected, all interconnected into his network, and we all played all together. There was 16 of us in one room. And my favorite was when we were all rocket battles. Everybody had rockets, and all we did was blow each other up with rockets. Yeah. We did that for hours. So we got it at midnight, and I swear to God, I don't think I got home till 6 or 7 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And we played all freaking night. And then I took the next day off of work because I was not getting up for work that day.
Been there.
But I mean,
I used to remember how awesome it was. Having a new game released at midnight, and I remember specifically making sure I'm gonna take a vacation day that next day, and I'm just gonna get that game at midnight.
So
and stay up all day.
Microsoft was very key to making what online gaming is, because Microsoft was a computer-based company that decided to make a gaming console.
And at the time, especially for consoles, because if you were a PC gamer, you already had things like online gaming. There were already
MMORPGs, EverQuest.
Not just MMORPGs. You had the RTSs, StarCraft.
Right,
Warcraft,
that was online. Yep.
Age of Empires. All of those were online. People played against each other, and things like Counter-Strike. People played.
That's true. That's right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Absolutely.
So there was a lot of online gaming going on in the PC world, but not in the console world.
I remember playing Diablo 1 because it was all online. You had to log in and go online, and that was dial-up times, man. That I remember the girl I was dating at the time, she had a nice computer, and we would trade off playing Diablo. And her parents would always get mad at us because we were on the freaking phone line. And her parents were finally like, "You're gonna get your own phone line now. We're gonna get a second phone line." They literally got a second phone line in that house
just
because
so you guys would
just
stop
so that we
hogging
would
the
stop
fucking-
hogging the damn phone.
That's a sign. Another thing. Everybody my age is like super familiar with like the dial-up tone, and I'm not. It's like I never had that issue.
Right,
We never
right.
had internet. We could use the
the
computer all
dial-up
we
tone
want.
is one of those things that if you played it for like a kid who's probably at least 5 or 6, they know what it is, but they wouldn't know why anyone else knows what it is.
Yeah,
like, they
yeah,
wouldn't know
yeah.
why it was important.
They've heard
Yeah.
the sound.
There's like
Everybody's heard.
that's the
Well,
dial-up noise. Like,
it's
do you
no-
know what the dial-up noise does? And it's like,
No.
It's no different than throwing my kid into a room and telling him to use a rotary phone to make a phone call. He's
Oh,
not
yeah.
gonna know what the hell to do.
man, I've seen kids handed a rotary phone, seeing if they could make a phone call. They try and like press the numbers, and
Yeah, I watched
I saw
one where
somebody-
a grandmother told her grandchildren the only way you can call your mom is if you use that phone. So they were like, they tried to press in the little holes first, and then they noticed that it spun, but they weren't spinning it all the way.
All the way, yeah.
But the key that they were doing is that something that I never really realized it until I saw that video. But even in the new cordless phones, that you can dial the number first and then hit talk, just like you do on a cell phone.
yeah.
That way, they're not having to hear a dial tone. They have no idea what a dial tone sounds like, because you're not having to pick up the phone first, hear the dial tone, and then dial out.
I saw.
So they were trying to dial while the phone was still on the cradle, and they dialed the whole number, and then they pick up the phone, and it's like, what is that noise?
If dial
And
tone.
the thing is, even if they do pick up the phone first, if you don't complete your dialing fast enough, you will eventually do the please hang up and try again.
Please hang up and try again.
Right,
And
right.
That's fun.
I
Yeah.
saw a video of this dad was like showing his kid like a cassette, and like, oh, this is how we used to listen to music in the day. They tried to plug their headphones into the tape, and they're like, how do you hit play? How do you hit
One of the
play?
funniest
Well,
memes.
I've-
One of the
I've
funniest
put it
memes
in
I
a
saw
player,
was
dude.
it was somebody bought a new car and said, "Look, it comes with an iPhone holder. It
Holder.
just won't charge." And they stuck their iPhone in the cassette player.
I've seen that. I mean, I used to.
Anyway, so we got off topic. Always, that's just us. That's what we do. But back into online gaming. I mean, the PlayStation took a long time to even get into an online style play.
Mhm.
The PS3 was the first one that you could get online with, and even then it was.
Well,
Yeah,
the
you had to jump through-
The PS2, you could, but not so much in America. You had to get an attachment.
Right.
Like that whole big
That's
slot
what-
in the back
okay.
of the PS2.
That's what it
that
was.
for.
Okay, so I was mixing the two up. I thought it was the PS3 that had that, but no, okay, I get it.
But the thing is, like,
PS3
even the Super Nintendo could get online. It's just they didn't sell a whole lot of that accessory in America because there was something to do with it. And then Genesis had an online. It was the Sega Channel.
Well, that was a little different though. That's not really getting online to play. That's getting online to stream, which is something we can get into is digital streaming games and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But for right now, we'll stick with online gaming and stuff like that. But
Well, for the sake of honesty, the Super Nintendo one was for streaming as well. But
Oh, okay.
like PlayStation 2, there was a bit of online
Game.
play.
right, okay.
But not so much in America. It was kind of a thing in Japan.
well,
But
and like I said, like I wasn't sure it was the PlayStation 2. I thought it was the PlayStation 3. But I guess in the PlayStation 3 they did a lot more online. And that
it
was
was built in.
yeah, and that was something else that was really weird too, because back in the day, I wanted a PlayStation 3 because I didn't have to pay for Xbox Live.
Yeah.
The only way to play online and
I
online with
remember-
your buddies was to get Xbox Live so that you could play
Right,
online with
and
your
I
buddies.
remember
who wants to pay
arguing
for
with-
Xbox Live.
Yeah, I remember arguing, having that, conversation / discussion / argument or whatever with a bunch of kids in high school about like, well, I mean, you can get PlayStation and not have to pay for your online service.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, but honestly, if I'm looking at it as far as like the quality of the online service you're getting, Microsoft wins.
Oh yeah.
At least
So
for
the thing is,
Xbox
you were
360 versus
paying-
PlayStation 3,
You
there's a
were
reason
paying
why
for
one was
Xbox
free.
Live, but Xbox Live was a better, more consistent
Because
service.
Gold
Because you're
was
paying
always a
for it.
Because
thing.
you were paying for it.
Because you're paying for it, they can put a lot that money into their servers
Well,
and
not
the
only that,
ability
not
to
only
make.
that, if they wanted people
I mean-
to continue paying for it, it had to be good.
So
True.
the
For
first
PlayStation,
Xbox
it was free. Who's going to be able to complain
about
if
free
it doesn't
service.
work properly?
Right.
For me, the first Microsoft or Xbox, I got, I had PlayStation for pretty much everything. I had PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. I actually had 2 PlayStation 3s.
Yep.
But around 2015, whenever the new gen consoles were coming out, they were like a year old or so, I decided to go with the Xbox One instead. And like, now my buddy owns that Xbox One. I gave it to him because I don't use it anymore. I bought a PlayStation Pro like a year and a half ago, and that's all I use now.
Yeah.
But I was seeing him log into his Xbox Live account that he's had forever, and looking at the fact that he could still access every single game that he had downloaded digitally through Xbox Gold. Or the,
Right.
The
So-
Gold.
I have an Xbox Live. I had an Xbox Live account because I had the 360 for a long time. When we got the Xbox One in the house, I just logged into my Xbox account. Now it's a silver; it's not a gold account anymore. But I can still access my account's still there.
Yeah.
All my whatever that you get for being online was
So
still
you
accessible.
can move console to console
Right.
all the way back from the Xbox, because he's got digital games that were, you know, backwards compatible for the Xbox 360 that he bought. You know, like he has Knights of the Old Republic digitally on his Xbox One now, because
Yeah.
it's something that was
It's
saved to his
something-
account. And he even discovered a glitch that, like, say you couldn't pay for your payment the next, you know, for your Xbox Gold for the next month or something, and you knew that was about to happen. If you log completely out of Xbox Live until the point that you have paid for it again, it'll never know the difference.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, like now PlayStation has PlayStation Plus, which you have to pay for, which is fine. I always catch it because every year around Black Friday time, right before Christmas, they do a special for, like, it's normally $60 to get it.
Mhm.
Like last year was $40.
Yeah.
This year it's $45. But of
Black-
course, I'm gonna
Black
front that
Friday.
$45 instead of the $60 so I can get it.
Yeah, because you even told me because I was living with you whenever I got the Xbox One, and you were like, no, don't like start the monthly payment subscription.
No, buy the year at a
Just
time.
buy the, you know, couple months or a year at a time, and like whenever I don't have
Well,
Xbox Gold anymore
I'm-
or even Live anymore because I don't
I'm an
play
old
it, I
school.
don't access it. But.
I'm old school when it comes to doing stuff online. Like, for the longest time, I would never pay a bill. I would never want to put my credit card online because I was afraid of hackers.
Dude, I paid
But now
for,
everything I do is
when
online.
I was 18.
I have a computer over here that all it does is pay my bills.
When I was 18, I paid for an entire year of a gym membership just because I didn't want to give them my credit card.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in full cash, I was just like, fine. I don't feel like having you guys charge my card because
Right.
I didn't like the gym.
Well, and even,
I just needed a subscription, and it was like walking distance from work.
right, and then,
So,
well, even at that time, you had barely had an account. I mean, that was before you even had a real bank
yeah,
account.
I
That
did
was-
have like a checking account, but I didn't have like a card,
Right.
and that's why I was just like, no.
But
I'm pretty old school like that too.
Yeah.
Whenever I get a haircut or
I
I
don't
pay
ever
for
put-
gas, I use cash. I don't use.
if I'm gonna get anything on the PlayStation Store, say I'm gonna buy something, I'll go to my game store and I'll buy currency for PlayStation
Yeah,
and put that currency on my PlayStation and buy what I'm gonna buy.
yeah, that's how I do it. too.
Now, there was a couple games that I was gonna buy, but now that it's not Black Friday anymore, technically, the sales are gone and I missed out. But God of War was $10 over the last week, couple days.
Ooh,
I'll make sure to check out Cyber Monday.
like the
and
newest
then-
one.
Yeah, the new God of War. And then, like, yeah, this is so weird. I'm gonna say this, but if anybody knows anything about Grand Theft Auto and Grand Theft Auto 5, Grand Theft Auto 5 is like 7 or 8 years old now.
Yeah, and it's still
And it's still going strong
people play it
because
every day.
because Rockstar, instead of making a new game every year to make Grand Theft Auto 6, they just keep dropping free online content.
You know what's funny? Because I was thinking about this earlier when we were talking about older gaming and talking about the Xbox. Is like, I remember I had a demo Xbox disc, even though I never owned an Xbox. I had a demo Xbox game of the original Grand Theft Auto.
The top view Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah, the top view Grand Theft Auto.
Nice.
And like, my friend had an Xbox, and I hung out with him all the time.
I
You know,
remember
8, 9 years old.
Tim had
I used to
Grand
play
Theft
that.
Auto 3.
I had Grand Theft Auto 2 as well, the other, because it was also top down.
Yeah.
But you
I
had Grand Theft Auto 3 and I don't know if you had San Andreas, but I remember
had
going over
Vice City and San Andreas.
I remember
City
going
and San
over to your
Andreas is
house
where most people
and playing
started
Grand Theft
playing.
Auto 3, and I would never actually play the game. I would literally just drive around and say, "What's the code for this?" And then we put the cheat code in and drop a tank.
I wasn't.
Give us unlimited weapons.
I was a little bit more
when
sheltered.
San Andreas came out, we were over at Woody's house.
Oh God!
And me and him were exchanging stories of just ridiculous, stupid things that happened in San Andreas. Like, he had customized a car. He was trying to get it back to a garage, and to make sure that it would be safe, he was driving on the train tracks, because even if a train was coming, he could see it from a far distance and it would be alright. And he could just get off the tracks and let it go by and whatever. And a freaking plane crashed on him from out of nowhere and took out this car that he was trying so hard to.
Dude, I liked San Andreas. I think San Andreas was a very innovative
That was
game.
San Andreas is.
Because that's when they
That's the one that got everybody into it.
customized, not only
Everybody
customized the cars and the vehicles you were in, you customized your avatar.
Yeah,
Your avatar.
You could be buff, you could be skinny, you could be fat, you could be whatever. Like, if you didn't go and work out, and his attributes were dependent upon whether you worked out or
on
not.
things that you did. Like, if you ran more, your stamina went up. If you
Right.
ate more, you got
I
fatter.
remember
But if you didn't eat
we
enough, you
spent-
would start to get emaciated and lose.
Yeah,
lose
we
energy.
spent like
And you can
2
go
or 3
pick up
hours
chicks.
in the gym when they first gave us access to the gym in the game.
Yeah.
It's like Sims 2.
Totally maxing out
could do
all
that
his
shit in
stats.
Sims.
And what was cool about that was while you were doing the workouts and stuff, you got hungry. So you would just go next door to the pizza place and buy some food, get yourself some food, go back next door and work out again. Our guy was freaking ripped,
Yeah.
fully statted out
Just all
at the
pizza
very
and muscle.
beginning of the game.
Just pizza and muscle. Yeah.
At the very beginning of the game, that was before we even got into the gang zoning and doing a lot of the stuff that you end up doing in that game.
Yeah, it's amazing.
We were just in our own home area, and we were buff and fully
It's
statted out.
amazing how fun doing like just
Doing
small
nothing.
everyday nothing crap on a virtual world is endlessly entertaining compared to like, oh man, I gotta get up to like grab the
at
remote.
at the end
What the
of
hell?
it was always worth it, because your friends would come over and it'd be like, what are we gonna do in San Andreas, or what are we gonna do in whatever
Does it
GTA game
really
you're playing?
matter?
It's like, and you would just drive around. I remember literally watching one of my friends. Like, there was like 10 of us sitting at my house, and we were just drinking and watching him play. And he was trying his best to be a normal, average, everyday citizen.
You can have fun doing that.
Because it's so hard.
It is. It is really hard.
Like, he was stopping at red lights, which none of the NPCs in the game stop at the red
Yeah,
lights.
no.
So he was stopping at red light, and he was stopped at a red light, and a cop car made an illegal turn and smacked him, and then tried to arrest him. And he was just like, "No, I'm not down with this." Yeah. So he gets in this fight with the cops, and he runs away and gets the stars back. And he's like, "Okay, now back to being a normal person." And like after like 3 hours of this, he eventually walks into like one of the burger joints, and he just like the NPC is like, "Hello, what can I get you?" And he just snaps. He's like, "I want your burger," and just shotguns everyone in the whole building.
Because I remember in Grand Theft Auto 3, there was this one building, like, off of your main home. If you just go straight up the main street, there was this one building that you could get into, but for some reason, the cop cars could not. So you start just blowing stuff up on the street. And then you just keep giving yourself armor and ammo. And the cop people could come through there, so you just gotta watch them come in. But you just start blowing stuff up. If you get your full stars and the tanks start coming, you start blowing them up.
Nice.
You just sit there and you just have a kill box. Literally a kill box right outside this freaking... And then you're done. You're like, okay, I'm bored with this. Now what do I do? Now the whole challenge is get out of there and lose all your stars.
Yeah.
That was the challenge.
We used to play Grand Theft Auto and just try and keep the star up as long as possible.
Yeah, and see how long you can make it.
See how long you can make it. And
all right.
Just that was enjoyable.
So, as fun as it is reminiscing about some of this old stuff, we didn't
make this a 3-part.
We didn't get into some of even the newer online gaming stuff like I wanted to. Maybe we'll come back around to this at some other point. But right now,
it's like it's a small topic.
Oh no, yeah, we can talk about games all day long, and maybe we could.
Don't forget that we'll definitely come back for that Pokemon episode.
Yes, we'll definitely do a full Pokemon episode. We're gonna do a bunch of fun stuff in the future. So please, please, please continue to listen. Any recommendations on? We did games last time.
Yeah, we did do gaming.
Well, we did old games. So should we do more modern games?
I would
recommend.
I guess my recommendation isn't necessarily any game specifically. My recommendation is try and find that reminiscent area that you find the most fond and try and relive that. Like for me, it would be sitting next to my old buddies in middle school, high school, elementary school even, and just playing like WWE games together right next to each other.
Yeah.
You know,
socializing
while
face
you're
to
playing
face.
the game, face to face.
Face to face socialization.
Like even a couple weeks ago, I started playing the WWE. You know, and I've already said multiple times how trash WWE 2K20 is, but like I played just through a random universe mode with one of my buddies sitting right next to me in person, and that was the most fun that I've had playing a wrestling game in years. Even though the game itself is a letdown.
So I know
who's that chick that's on the front of 2K20?
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch, that smoking hot Irish
chick.
Oh, I'll let her talk to me all day long.
Maybe, I don't know.
If I could just have her talk to me, I wouldn't even have to. As much as I'd love to have her in the same room, but if she could just talk to me all day, I would be perfectly fine.
Just call me.
Right.
Call me up and let me hear you say something.
I know you're not into too much gaming. I mean, I guess the last couple games.
There are some more modern games that I could recommend. If you're into shooters or good storylines, check out the Mass Effect series. If you're not so much into shooters, I would recommend checking out the Arkham series for Batman.
Yeah.
Those are really good, but that's...
So, for me, I'm more of a sports and racing style. I just picked up the new Need for Speed, but if you have not played the old Payback, even though they stopped doing support, they stopped doing a lot of support on the game because the new Need for Speed Heat came out. Payback was one of those games for me that got me back into racing games. They showed me that racing games can be fun again.
Dude, honestly, I have not played very many Need for Speed games that I don't enjoy anyways.
Right. I mean, now this new Need for Speed Heat, so far I've played a couple hours of it, and there's a lot of...
trickiness.
No, there's a lot of remnants of like Underground.
Good.
And the Carbon games.
Yeah.
The Need for Speed Carbon. So right now I'm really enjoying it. So if you like an arcade style racing and you're not diehard simulator like me, I even play the Need for Speeds. So I love I'm a diehard simulator driving game guy, but Need for Speed is always one of those just get in and have fun.
I can have a lot of fun playing a simulated one too.
So Harrison, you didn't say like anything this episode.
But do you have a recommendation?
Dragon Ball Evolution for the PSP.
Hell yeah.
Dragon Ball Evolution. Okay. What genre is that? I've never seen that game.
It's a story-based fighting game.
So like RPG story based or like multiple players?
I think it's just a fighting game.
Like
Interesting. It's almost like Injustice.
or like Street Fighter kind of fighting.
I mean, it's I guess kind of like Street Fighter. More
Well,
like
because Injustice
the
had that
Budokai
story
games.
built into it.
More like the Budokai games. Okay.
Yeah.
Are they
but-
like movie graphics?
Yeah.
Okay, I definitely want to play these.
Oh, you gotta play. Yeah,
I
if it's
just wanna-
anything like the
I
movie,
wanna
I gotta play it.
Beat somebody up with real crappy bootleg Goku.
When you say movie graphics, do you mean like it looks like the old Mortal Kombat games with like the movie capture, like sort of guys are
A little bit.
Well,
It looks like the people from the movie, not the
Alright.
characters.
So while you guys are all enjoying playing Dragon Ball Evolution on the PSP, because if there's any recommendation that you should follow, it better be that one.
So by now, we should have a lot of our social media stuff up. Please follow us on Twitter
Yep.
and Facebook.
Yep.
We will get you actual
Yeah, we're gonna get
addresses
handles
as soon as we
and-
get them.
the links,
Right
the links
now
will
we're-
be in the description.
We're working on making sure that we have a logo. That way, when I create these accounts, it's not just a blank picture.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like, hey, follow this. There's no explanation of what we are.
But we will be giving probably do clippets of future episodes, and we will let you know when the next episode drops. So
Yep, and-
follow us on social media, and we'll give you those where-ats and details about that when they show up.
We'll tweet the deets.
Thanks
tweet
for
beats.
showing up or listening in to our
Tangent.
tangent.
Hells
We do tend to get off topic a lot, and I hope you